Good day, friends. President Trump's recent television speech made sense when read between the lines. He said that he'll continue his operations against Iran for 2 to 3 weeks. He will bomb Iran to the Stone Age unless he gets the deal. He didn't specify the deal, but it is very obvious what he has in mind. What Trump wants is that the Strait of Hormuz it go back to the pre-war situation. That means it become a free waterway, something that will never happen now. Now, as far as bombing of Iran to the Stone Age is concerned, he specifically mentioned that he would destroy Iran's electric power systems, power plants. And then we also know that the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, he has been preparing for a limited ground operation against Iran, which he hopes to accomplish in the 2 to 3 weeks time frame that they have set for this. And there are already something like 70,000 American forces in the theater, which includes the airborne forces and the Marines. And then we know a lot of these A-10 attack jets have been brought in the theater, and the sole purpose of A-10 is to support the ground operations. And then a large number of F-16s have been brought in from Germany. Then recently, Pete Hegseth, he has sacked at least 6 senior military officers, including the Army Chief of Staff. Why they have been sacked, it's understandable. Because they would have told Pete Hegseth that, look, when you do an air campaign, you can control the escalation, you can stop the air campaign, which is not the case with ground operation, and especially when you are doing against a formidable enemy like Iran. Because there's nothing called a limited ground operation. Once you launch the war, limited war, it will achieve or it will attain a dynamics of its own, it will suck in forces. And there is no guarantee at all that America will be able to even achieve its objectives in the war. Because surely all these officers would have done a thorough war appreciation in the 1 month that this war is going on of Iran's military capabilities. And Pete Hegseth obviously did not like all this, so these people, they were sacked. Now, talking about Trump saying that he will blow off, he will destroy the electric power plants. Let us understand the implication of this. Iran has said that if this happens, Iran will retaliate by destroying or hitting 18 American technology companies in the GCC nations, and they have already listed those 18 companies. Now, if they were to destroy those 18 companies, what that means is that the data centers in those GCC countries which have been built with billions of petrodollars will be destroyed. Not only that, the digital decapitation, it will also lead to other problems. For example, even if Iran does not destroy the oil production and the oil refinery facilities in the GCC countries, please remember that the oil field management is also digital in the GCC countries, and that will come to a stop. In other words, the oil prices, they will hike substantially. Not only this, Iran today not only controls 20% of the global oil and gas fertilizers, it also controls helium and sulfur. 50% of the global sulfur, it passes through the Strait of Hormuz, and helium is a byproduct of natural gas. So the point that I am making is that helium and sulfur is critical for manufacturing of semiconductors, which are the backbone of artificial intelligence. And then also remember that America is looking for very cheap energy because it has data centers which have to train the AI model. They are the foundational models. They need large amount of energy. So the point that I'm making is very simple, that on the one hand, America will lose its pulsating, its big market in the Middle East, the only market that it has in the world, which is built on petrodollars. And then there is always the fear that America will fall behind China in the race of fourth industrial revolution that it is competing in. Now, what is this fourth industrial revolution race? We know there are only two countries in the world today, which is China and America, which can compete and are competing in the entire AI stack. And it is these countries which can have the AI applications and take those AI applications, which means their standards and their rules and regulations, to maximum countries in the world. There are 193 countries in the world. So whichever side is able to take maximum AI applications and their standards to maximum countries, that country wins the race of the fourth industrial revolution. So by this mere act of Trump destroying the electric power plants in Iran, these are the implications, very serious implications. And I am not even going beyond that, because this actually can lead to total destruction if this escalation continues. And what I have already explained in my earlier video, the Rubicon would be crossed. The Middle East and the world will be impacted so badly that it'll take decades to normalize. Now, I come to my second point. The second point is, nobody expected that Iran would come a winner, will beat America in West Asia, beat America militarily. America is a great power, and America is the leader of the global North nations. And what Iran has done in West Asia in just 30 days is something spectacular. It has militarily beaten America. Let this be very clear. And the implication of this is what I've explained in one of my videos, where I said that, look, nobody realized that in West Asia, with this what has happened, the demise of the present world order will hasten, and the rise or the acceleration of the new world order will happen. And the two great powers today in the multipolar world which are supporting the new world order, those two great powers are Russia and China. Now it is their responsibility to strengthen the new world order after this acceleration has happened because of the spectacular performance of Iran on the battlefield. Now, when I talk about strengthening the new world order, I am talking about strengthening the institutions of the new world order. So the three key institutions are BRICS SCO. I want to talk about here RIC, the third one. Now, RIC is a framework which is Russia, India, China. And this framework can be the collective voice of Global South, these three countries together. And Global South is those group of countries, 80% of the world population, those developing countries which are getting attracted to the new world order. And we know that President Putin, when he came to India in December 2025, the Russians publicly urged India to revive the RIC, because this will be a very powerful voice in the world. But India did not revive the RIC for two reasons: because India does not want to have normal ties with China, and India's foreign policy, tech policy, military policy, everything is completely aligned with America. So India did not revive this. But let us revisit what is this new world order, and let us have a look at this RIC after this win of Iran in West Asia. Now, this new world order that I am talking about, it happened in 2013. When Chinese President Xi Jinping, on assuming the presidency, he made his first foreign visit in March 2013 to Moscow, and he met up with President Putin, and the two leaders agreed that yes, there was a need for a new world order, that the world had become multipolar, that there were three great powers today in that multipolar world: America, China, and Russia. So they devised this vision for the new world order, which today is finding a lot of traction in the global south. Because this vision is about development through peace. It does not talk about wars at all. And this is the high point of the new world order. It talks about all countries in this new world order, having sovereign equality, they should be equal. They should believe in indivisible security and not in a zero sum game, absolute security that leads to wars. Then, here, the rules and the international law should be based on United Nations. And no country in this world order should do export of ideology but should have respect for all civilizations and all cultures, and it should reject hegemony in international affairs. Now, when we look at Iran, Iran fits the bill. All this, what is required in the new world order, Iran just fits beautifully here, but India does not. Because, for example, India, when I say India, I mean the Modi government. It does not believe in sovereign equality, that all nations are equal. It does not believe in indivisible security, and it believes in hegemony, which is why India, coming with a colonial mindset, believes that it should be treated as a big brother in South Asia. But Iran, as I said, it foots the bill. Not only that, RIC, this framework where there are two great powers. Let us look at what is being a great power in the multipolar world. Now, a great power in the multipolar world, like I said, there are three great powers. It has three distinctive characteristics. The first is that a great power, it can look after its sovereignty by itself. Even Iran can do that. It has shown it. Then a great power, it cannot be intimidated or coerced by any other country in the world. Iran has shown that it fits the bill here also. And the third requirement for a great power is that it should be able to influence events anywhere in the world. Iran does not fit the bill here. In other words, when I look at the RIC, or this is the way the new world order that is accelerating should be looking at, is that Iran actually, when it comes to the vision of the new world order, it fits the bill completely. And when we look at a great power, Iran fits in two big conditions of a great power. So Iran today stands tall, something like a major power plus. And if this is a part of the RIC, that means if the RIC is Russia, Iran, China, instead of Russia, India, China, surely the great powers will be thinking, Russia and China will be thinking that that would be appropriate. Now I come to another point, which is that if the RIC, these three countries are together, which have the same vision, which is Russia, Iran, and China, then surely after the war is over, they will be rooting for Pakistan to be included in the BRICS. Pakistan has applied both for BRICS as well as the BRICS Bank, which is the new development bank. And let's understand that BRICS is not only about geoeconomics, it is also about geopolitics. And we have seen in the case of this war that Pakistan has emerged as a credible mediator, and Pakistan has a mediator primarily because of military credibility. And it is a nation which is acceptable to majority of nations in West Asia. So Pakistan, I'm sure that RIC will be rooting for Pakistan, and this is something that India does not want to happen because India holds the presidency of BRICS this year. But as I won't go in the details, but sufficient to say that Iran, which controls the Strait of Hormuz, can do a lot in its rooting for Pakistan to be included in BRICS. And India does not seem to understand, when I say the present government, that what we need, what India needs for its progress is peace for development. And I have said this repeatedly, India needs to have normal ties with China, and India needs to have normal ties, relations with Pakistan. Now, so here are my 3 points which I want to just sum up. These are my sum up points. The first is that if America continues with this limited ground operation, what it is talking about, it will certainly face national humiliation, And if it continues with this bombing campaign that Trump is talking about, it will lose its very important market in the Middle East, where the data centers are built on the petrodollars. Then, after this war is over in West Asia, it is very clear that the RIC will need to be strengthened, and RIC is the collective voice of Global South. So I have already explained this, that here Iran has agrees with the total vision of the other two great powers and the vision of the new world order.